This is Ashwin again. How is it going? Welcome back to my series of tutorials on OpenCV 3 and Python 3. So in this series of tutorials, till now we have seen thresholding, right? So we have learned various sorts of thresholding. We have learned simple thresholding. We have learned Otsu's thresholding. Okay, we have even seen how to implement binary thresholding and other sorts of thresholding on color images. So if you remember that in Otsu's thresholding, the value of threshold is automatically calculated, and it is very useful in the cases where the images are bimodal. Bimodal images means that we can separate the images into two different components, right? One is the foreground component and another one is the background component. So this is the image set that we used. Okay, so there are like various images like tanks in the desert. Okay, so now definitely the desert and vegetation and the tank, these are two different completely different things together, right? So we can say that desert is the background and the flora as well as the tank are the foreground stuff. So we can use Otsu's binarization in these cases. However, if we have an image with different lighting conditions, okay, so in that case, probably Otsu's binarization is not the right method for calculating the thresholded image. So in that case, we need to use adaptive thresholds, okay, adaptive thresholding method. So let's use this image, okay, as the input image, and then let's first calculate the Otsu's binarization for all the images. Otsu's binarization using all the thresholding algorithms for this image. So this is the original image, and these are all the binary images, right? So original images like this, and it has got various shades of gray, which happen to be nothing but the various lighting conditions. Basically, this is the image of the lunar craters, okay, which must have been taken by one of the lunar observers or one of the Apollo modules, okay, while descending. Now when we calculate the binarization of these images, we don't see the craters completely separated by the even ground, okay, because of the different lighting conditions, right? So based on the slope of that crater, right, the gradient of lighting is changing. So in this sort of cases, we should not be using Otsu's binarization or other binarization algorithms altogether. Okay, we can use the adaptive threshold method like this. Okay, so this is the code for adaptive thresholding method. I will explain in a moment what all the parameters mean. First, let me paste the code and let me adjust our original code according to this. Okay, so this one will be th1 thresholded image 1 and th2 thresholded image 2, and the final will be this is adaptive mean thresholding, mean adaptive, and the second one is Gaussian adaptive. Okay, so let me close this set of titles like this, and it has to be 3 and 1,3, and grayscale is good enough. Yes, so the code seems correct. So now let me explain how the code works. Basically, we are determining the block size. Block size stands for the neighborhood of pixels on which these algorithms are supposed to, adaptive threshold algorithms are supposed to work. There are two sorts of adaptive threshold algorithms. One is mean adaptive threshold algorithm, and another one is Gaussian adaptive threshold algorithm. So the block size is the neighborhood on which this algorithm works. Okay, constant is a weighted constant which is added in the end of the thresholding operation when the thresholding operation is concluded. Okay, so this way we are calculating the this adaptive thresholding. Okay, and so let me reiterate this thing, that Otsu's binarization works very well when the image is in background plus foreground format, or image is bimodal. Okay, in order to in case we want to put it in the other words. Okay, so bimodal images which have grayscale as well, the bimodal grayscale images which have foreground plus background information. And adaptive thresholding works very well in the cases where we have an image with different lighting conditions. Okay, so let's see what the output looks like. Yeah, so this is the adaptive threshold. Okay, so this is Gaussian adaptive threshold, and this is the mean adaptive threshold output. I guess this might not be the right image for this adaptive threshold. We can just go ahead and check the other images. Other images will be like this one. Okay, 5.1.12. So let's go ahead and use this 5.1.12 and let's see what the output is going to be like. Okay, so this is the output is going to be like. So the edges of the image are like highlighted. So we can change the size of neighborhood. We can just make it 7 and let's see what the output is going to be like. Yeah, so the 7, when we choose the 7 as output, then again the result is different, and when the output is simply 1, okay, so 1 is not allowed. It returns an error. So for 3, the edges are more kind of unclear. Okay, so if we choose something like 23, it will be computationally more intensive. Okay, but my computer is kind of fast enough to compute it in a moment. And if we choose something like 73, then probably, yeah, the what we say, the images in the foreground as well as the images in the background are now clear. Okay, so because we have different lighting conditions, as you can see, there is the what we say, the walls of the, no, not walls, the surfaces are differently lit, okay, based on how much light it is absorbing and how much light it is letting go. So so this is the best way to adaptive thresholding is the best way to calculate the thresholds, okay, of the image. So here I'm using block size equal to 93. We can use like something like 203. Yes, so if you keep on increasing the block size for these sort of images, you will get the objects more vividly. Okay, and so still this is not foolproof. So let's say 513. The size of image is 512 by 512. So yeah, so now the output is like more clear, right? So the objects are separated from the rest of the stuff in more vivid manner. So this is the right image, this sort of image, right, where we have various objects and we have different lighting conditions, and the surfaces of objects are lit with various gradients of light. Then we should use adaptive threshold. So let's use a color image and let's see what happens. Okay, so the most appropriate color image where we can see different lighting conditions, it's kind of difficult actually because we don't have that sort of image. So let's use this 4.1.05.tiff. Yeah, so for that we need to make 4.1.05. okay, 4.1.05.tiff 1. Okay, and finally we are just going to delete the color map. Also we need to change the color map of the image, or the color space of the image. Yes, so from BGR we are converting it to the RGB so as to be comprehensible to the human eyes and brain. Okay, and let's execute this code. I guess there is some problem with this. I think that it is not working very well on the color image. Yeah, it is not working with the color image. So leave it. We can just go ahead and use it with the grayscale images. So if I convert this image to grayscale, will it work? I think that it should work. No, I think that it should work now. Yes. So I converted the image to the grayscale image, and it is now showing the house as well as the background in a different way. So I just need to say again CMap equal to gray. Yeah, now this will be the proper output. So now this is the house and this is the background. Okay, and the house is already lit with different lighting conditions, especially this surface. Okay, the surface that I am actually hovering my mouse pointer over is lit with really lit with different lighting conditions. Okay, the gradient of light is different in case of every pixel, and it is definitely able to apply these adaptive thresholding algorithms on this image. So this is how we can use adaptive thresholding algorithm for segmentation. So let me know if you know more about this thing in the comment section down below. Thanks a lot. Let me know your thoughts and suggestions in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I will see you next time.